Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. The United States has downed an unidentified flying object. Those are not my words. Hit subscribe. Everyone is reporting on this. And again, I am simply reporting the news. United States jets down UFO off Alaska coast. Hit subscribe to my super chat. I cannot do this without you. Your super chat support is greatly appreciated. And thank you so very much, as always, for the kind words, for your support. Hit subscribe to this channel, H.A. Goodman's other channel. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Shalom, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Let's do this! Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. So there are going to be inevitably the imbeciles in the future who will look at this live stream and say, H.A. Goodman believes in Martians. Bleh. Well, I am not saying that we downed a Martian space vehicle. What I am saying is it is an unidentified flying object. It is being reported as an unidentified flying object. And whether it's ET, whether it's ET phone home or another spy, either balloon or aircraft from China, the reality is right here. We have downed an object that is unidentified but cylindrical, if you can believe this here. The actual description is silver and cylindrical. Okay, so actually, hold on. There's an ABC News article that talks about this. So, ABC News. Of course, they're always, so you've seen the articles right now. Okay, so here, unidentified flying object at high altitude right here, and then it goes on to say ABC News. I'm not making this up. So for any for any imbecile or petulant, malicious fool out there in the future when we get to 300,000, 350,000 subs that tries to disparage me for no reason because they're sad and pathetic individuals. Here, a cylindrical and silverish gray aircraft. What does that remind you of? What does that remind you of? Okay, let's just go ahead. Here, we'll do a poll right here. And to my super chat, thank you. I cannot do this without you. What does a cylindrical and silver-ish gray flying object mean? What does that mean? Does it mean Martians? Or does it mean, I'm trying to think of a funny alternative. Does it mean, I don't know, another Biden foreign policy disaster? Okay, so what does that mean? Martians or another Biden foreign policy disaster of epic proportions? So here, what does this mean to you? You're seeing, this is an ABC News article right here. What on earth does this mean to you? Okay, a cylindrical and gray, and again, for the buffoons in the future who want to, take this out of context, this is an article from ABC News. You can see it right here. ABC News. I don't think it's aliens and Martians or anyone related to Biden, but who knows? I don't. There's a 0.2% chance that it could be an extraterrestrial. But I don't think so. Okay, 0.1% chance. 99.99%, it's likely an adversary deriving a great deal of intelligence because they know from the first spy balloon, and we'll look at the trajectory, we'll look at the flight path of the first spy balloon, and it went all over the United States and across the United States, and it should have been downed when it was above Alaska or even before it got to Alaska. But this is an ABC News article, okay, and I find it very, almost hilarious, but very bizarre. It was described as a cylindrical and silverish gray. Okay, so let's just go ahead and look up. Let's look at cylindrical and silverish gray. Okay. Here you have The Guardian 6 hours ago. The same thing. It was described as cylindrical and silverish gray. Thanks, Joe. Wow. At least Trump isn't tweeting. ABC News quoted an official. Oh, okay, so apparently that's primarily from ABC News. ABC News quoted an official saying that it was a cylindrical and silverish gray and giving the appearance of floating. In other words, it's definitely not an alien. ABC News quoted a U.S. official as describing the object as a cylindrical and silverish gray. Henry, man! Born to raise Hawks, thank you as always, Henry! From the country near Pluto. Yeah, or no, the planet near Uranus. Thank you. Born to raise Hogs. Thank you so very much for your support on this channel always. Your support is always greatly appreciated, and you've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you. You as well, Henry. Thank you so very, very much. Henry, man, thank you. Thank you for your support. To my super chat and to the members on this channel, thank you. So, what does that mean to you? Okay, this is very bizarre for a number of reasons. Exactly, Eric. Hello. You have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where adversaries are obviously testing the country. This does not mean you must respond with never-ending military conflict. The reason that Trump was a fantastic president in terms of foreign policy achievements is the following, okay? And this is, I think, why people watch the channel, because I'm able to give analysis that is completely missing from the mainstream. Donald Trump was able to utilize economic leverage in the form of tariffs that Democrats complained about, okay? In the form of leverage, an economic response. So what he would have done is he would have simply said, okay, you want to send these aircraft over the United States of America. We're going to respond now in terms of imposing greater tariffs. Now, immediately, the media, Democrats, certain pundits would say, "Oh my God, Trump! How dare he do that? Oh my goodness, it's terrible." But the reality is, you don't have to respond militarily. Trump would have probably stated that, okay, well, you know what? All military options are on the table. And then Democrats would have said, oh my God, he's so warlike and militant. As they fund currently an invasion in Europe, which is a never-ending military conflict under the watch of Democrats that has only caused suffering and humanitarian crisis. Okay? So, with Trump, we would not have had this. We know, number one, it didn't happen under Trump. The absurd lies that were told, oh, well, the intel community is like a security blanket for Democrats. They can just simply say that intelligence said that it was worse under Trump. Well, there's no evidence of that. There's no reporting of that. There's only unnamed, anonymous, unidentified officials. And what we see now is this is taking place under Biden. It's taking place under Biden because Biden and Democrats have a foreign policy that's a complete catastrophe. It's a disaster. In terms of foreign affairs, they're completely incompetent and inept. Henry Mann, thank you. Born and Raised Hawks, thank you. To my super chat, thank you again, as always. Okay? You have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where, yes, Rick, the potato is weak, exactly. Mashed potato brains is, like, completely inept. And you have a situation where there are countries testing us all the time. And they're testing what they can get away with. And it doesn't you don't necessarily have to. So you can again you can impose an economic repercussions in terms of increasing tariffs. But here, you can go ahead. This was the flight path of the first spy balloon. All the way, it went from the Aleutian Islands. You can see it right here, okay? It should have been downed right here. We spend $67 to $100 billion in terms of intelligence. $67 to $100 billion in terms of intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We spent $67 billion according to the Director of National Intelligence. Okay? That's just for, I believe, a certain number of intel agencies. I'm not sure if it's for the 17 intel agencies that, by the way, did not back the Trump-Russia nonsense. Okay? So you have a situation where the balloon was downed off the coast of South Carolina, all the way. It went all the way across the United States of America and downed right here off the coast of South Carolina. Okay? And so we allowed this to take place because Biden's presidency, his State Department, and many people within the Department of Defense, the higher-ups, I'm not talking about soldiers, I'm not talking about, people who risk their lives, I'm talking about people within positions of bureaucratic positions within the Pentagon, within the DOD, within the State Department, bureaucrats, partisan loyalists of the Democratic Party are completely inept. We have the most competent, noble, courageous veterans and, active duty and veteran soldiers of this country. And God bless you if you're watching, if you're a veteran, and thank you and God bless you. Okay? And your families. God bless you and your families. And I appreciate you watching this channel. But the bureaucrats are completely inept and they're a bunch of buffoons. They allow all of these things to take place, and it is obviously not only a complete embarrassment, but now we got UFOs. Okay? So, you know what? Across the galaxy, they might have said, you know what? Biden's presidency is so bad. Maybe with Trump, the Martians were like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't test Trump. And he was, maybe like with the Martians, like, don't even come to this planet. Try going to Uranus or Pluto, whatever. I'll build a golf club there. We can do it. Try not to just come here. The second, if Trump actually prevented a Martian invasion, it would be like, oh my God, Trump makes enemies with possible good people from Mars. Trump! That's what would have taken place. If it was Trump, oh my God, like, that's all we would hear is, oh my God, Trump trying to cause a foreign policy disaster. And again, now we have a situation. This is the second unidentified object, the second object floating across this country, okay, that the second object floating across this country, and it's kind of like, at least Trump isn't tweeting. The media is like, at least today, for example, Pence got his home raided by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mike Pence, a good Republican. How did he react to the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Mike Pence is a good Republican, along with Mittens Romney and Elizabeth Cheney. And when Mike Pence speaks, he's a salt-of-the-earth man. He's a good man. Not like that maniac H.A. Badman on YouTube. He's an actual good man. And it's unfortunate that the Federal Bureau... It's unfortunate that Trump has sullied the good name of Mike Pence by causing the Federal Bureau of Investigation to go after him in the same manner they go after everyone who's a problem to the Democratic Party, including the mashed potato brains, our president, who they want replaced by Hillary Clinton in 24. Anyway, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, this didn't happen under Trump. None of these things took place under Trump. And that's the reality of the situation. None of these things took place under Trump. Okay? You have a situation, you have a foreign policy establishment under Democrats they're so beholden to media. They're so beholden to priorities like non-governmental organizations, multinational organizations, alliances. Okay, this is nothing. These things have nothing to do with United States national security. U.S. national security. Trump had a very good grasp of U.S. national security. U.S. national security, by the way, has nothing to do with DNC emails. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing to do. We have no clue how many people, and they cheated Bernie Sanders, and they blamed another country, and they've been blaming countries now, for the past 7 years. And you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where every single day, something very bizarre takes place in this country, okay? But the only thing people can think about is Trump. And Trump is gaining steam, okay? He's going after DeSantis, which is a good... I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but it is, DeSantis, look, this is politics. So DeSantis can simply say, I'm not running. He doesn't have to, play this kind of game where, well, who knows if I'm running. I like DeSantis a lot. I think he's fantastic. But he has to understand that, Trump is a walking public relations machine, his own public relations machine. He doesn't have media propping him up. If anything, media tries to tear him down every single second of the day. The only person, and he is one of the few people in the history of mankind, in the history of humanity, who can actually survive and prosper and flourish despite overwhelming, almost 100% negative media coverage. Nobody could. Nobody could do what Trump... Now, that's also his Achilles heel. because he's turned negative media coverage into a benefit, but also it is his Achilles heel. Okay, it's not necessarily always the best thing, but what he's done is Trump was very good in terms of foreign policy and economic policy. Trump's presidency was a good presidency in terms of what he accomplished. In terms of what people remember, that has been that has been tarnished by the most apoplectic, hysterical reaction to Trump. Oftentimes, false, fabricated, absurd allegations and this hysterical reaction to Trump that what I'm trying to say is it overshadows the fact that we didn't have these things like, cylindrical and silverish. I'm going to watch Independence Day tonight. Just because I'm in the mood to to watch films about Martians. But yeah, I mean, War of the Worlds is a good one too. You have this state of affairs in the country right now where people are okay with this. If it was Trump, it would be like, Trump! Martians are invading this country! Hillary was right. Hillary was right. How long before we get devoured by Martians? How long before we get devoured by Martians? Trump, these Martians are Russians. These are Russian Martians. No! The Kremlin and Martians are teaming up against good people. And they're trying to take over Europe. And Trump is allowing them. That's all you'd hear. That's all you'd hear. Do you understand? You would have CNN. We're speaking to a foreign policy expert on the dangers of Russian Martians, who are also bigots. What do you think? Well, this is obviously a plan by the Putin, to invade this world with bigoted Russian Martians. Back to you, Jim. For sports. And that's all we would hear. Do you understand? It would be never ending. We need an investigation right now into Trump and these Martians. We didn't have these Martians under President Obama. What does Trump know about the flying objects? What is he hiding? What does Kushner know? And what does Ivanka know? Again. He's orange, they're orange. Do you see maybe a correlation? I don't know. Why don't you ask Trump? He hasn't denied that these Martians are orange like him. Why do you think that is? Because they're related. They're bigoted Russian Martians. We just heard these pundits, and James Clapper and John Brennan said, and here's John Brennan, I don't do evidence, I do intelligence. I don't do evidence, I do intelligence, and it's true, there's Martians. These are extraterrestrials. Terrestrials. They've been flying down. We think that Trump is a menace. We have no clue if it's actually somebody related to Trump. But we should investigate. In fact, the 25th Amendment is a good start. Kick him out of office. That's all they would do. Do you understand? That's all they would do. They would blame him for everything. And but now it's like, oh, well, there's... that's bizarre. There's these unidentified flying objects, and gee, Now the media downplays. They're like, Trump downplays everything we care about. Then Trump is going after the people who wrongly went after him, and they're like, this is partisan. This is not weapon. Who's weaponizing the government? Now it's Trump. How dare he go after us after we unethically and wrongly and unjustly went after him? How dare that happen? So, let's see. This is yet another let's see, hold on one second. Jerusalem Post will read this. U.S. says it downed a car-sized. I like when they say car-sized, like they never give that description of like a fighter jet. It's about 7 car lengths in size, this fighter jet. U.S. says it shot down car-sized UFO over Alaska. In this particular case, it was determined that this is hilarious. Don't you love I heard Kirby's discussion of this. It caused a reasonable threat, don't you know? It was a reasonable threat. Not a threat, a reasonable threat. To air traffic. Nothing about, national security, just air traffic. Then it was President Joe Biden ordered the downing, which was announced. A rare presidential level involvement. Yeah, how much do you want to bet that this had nothing to do with mashed potato brains? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're flying over us, man, again, man. You imagine Biden trying to, make small talk with Martians? Hey, man. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, Martian man. This is a big deal, Martian man. Can I give you a hug? Let me give you a hug, Martian man. A big hug. Mwah. Leslie! Kirby looks like a Muppet puppet to me. He does, doesn't he? That's true. He does. Let's look at the here. State Department spokesman Kirby, John Kirby, right? Hold on. Okay, so hold on one second. Yep, Muppet confirmed. He does look like a Muppet. He does. Leslie! Zehan, exactly. I agree with you. And I love NPR, because if it was Trump, like I said, Trump allows Martians to come down and invade this great world. Thanks a lot, Trump. And by the way, they would also be blaming Trump supporters. Did you vote for Trump? Well, I guess it's your fault that Martians are invading the world. I guess your Lord and Savior, your King, your deity, Trump. I guess you worship him and the ground that Trump walks on. Now we have Martians because of Trump. I hope you're happy. I hope it was worth it. We're 90 seconds to midnight now with UFOs flying, and it's NPR. The U.S. shot down an object. It was just an object over Alaska. The government doesn't know yet what it is. Could be anything. Could be a giant ball of ice balls. Could be anything. We don't even really know what's going on. Just relax, okay? At least Trump isn't tweeting. At least Trump isn't tweeting. The main thing is that Trump isn't tweeting. Could be an ICBM, so what? Trump's not tweeting. It's fine. I love this. So the U.S. shot down an object. Oh, really? An object? This microphone? What? This little professional sprayer? What object? It's just an object. His servant, hello. Leslie! Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Alien, exactly, stock chart. Trump made Martian-phobic comments today, talking about how Martians should not be entering this world. What do you think about that left-leaning pundit? I just think that Trump is setting a bad example for other people. It's true that Martians could devour us and use us as hosts, use us as like an energy source by siphoning our life force. But the fact that Trump said, go back to the planet you came from, this is a big problem. It speaks to the bigoted people among us. So, honestly, Trump, stay out of the whole Martian go back to your planet thing, okay? We don't need that type of rhetoric from you. And they could be nice people, too. They could be nice Martians. What if they have cures for different, ailments and stuff? Okay. Basically, anything Trump says, we're going to just say it's his fault, okay? The NPR, this is the best NPR, This is the best NPR, the U.S. shut down an object. It's just an object. What's the problem? And this is how they obfuscate. It was the size of a car. Well, was it Martians? It was the size of a car, okay? Well, was it a Chinese spy balloon? Another one in 1 week? We downed something the size of a car, okay? Isn't that enough information for you? Puny, irrelevant person who wants just to know what's flying above us. We've already told you, but was it a Martian? It's the size of a car. We've already explained that. We didn't even have to say it was the size of a car. You should be thankful. We didn't even have to say it was the size of a car. You see how nice we are? You see how nice we are? We told you it was the size of a car. What do we get? More dumb questions from the irrelevant people who happen to pay taxes and, live life in a country where they should, get the reality of the situation. It's not clear yet what it was. It was a high-altitude object. Oh, okay. Henry, man! Henry, man, if the Martians are left, they'd be invited. Exactly. Stock chart, they'd be afraid of this city. Henry, man! Thank you, Henry. Thank you so much, Henry. Thank you. So, it's really interesting that you have this cognitive dissonance. Exactly, San Mateo, exactly. That's true. Henry, man, they would be. You have to understand, if the Martians like drop down from the stars, the heavens, and they're like, we do not like Trump, but at the same time, we want to devour the entire human race and use your bodies as a fuel source. But also, we despise Trump. Every publication, the Washington Post, well, the Martians ain't that bad. It's true that they want to devour all of us, but still they despise Trump. It's a common ground that we have with these Martians, these extraterrestrials. They too, even the Martians don't like Trump. I mean, like, the Martians are going to eat us and stuff, but they don't like Trump, so they're not that bad. They're not that bad. Oh my God, it would be like the best thing. Henry, thank you so very much. Yeah, if they didn't like Trump, it's like it would be totally fine. It would be totally fine, Marta, hello. I mean, anything that anybody, Kim Jong-un, Martians, if you don't like Trump, it's all good. For a moment, you will get positive media coverage. Believe me, a high altitude object. But the best part of this is, like I said, NPR downplays everything. U.S. government downed an object over Alaska. I don't know what it is. Who cares? Well, at least we have Democrats in charge. The adults are in charge, okay? It was just a balloon the other day. No big deal. At least Trump's going to get indicted. Going to prison. Orange man, bad. This is hilarious. But I love that Biden says, like they were like, what should we do, President Mashed Potato Brains? We're so at a loss. We have no clue what we should do. Hey, man. Hey, who's calling me, bothering my man on my... I'm relaxing. I'm having a tall glass of Yoo-hoo and some porridge. I'm eating porridge like Biden does. Come on, man. Who's bothering me? Is it cornflakes flying above? Is cornflakes flying above, man? Come on, man. Is it cornflakes, man? Well, you know what? Shoot down cornflakes, man. Take it down. Come on, man. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, thank you, President, but we didn't know what to do. We had no clue. Thank you so much. You're so awesome. Thank you for allowing us to doubt. Because, before you didn't care. You just allowed the Chinese spy balloon all over the place. Leslie! They are legends in their own mind again. Exactly. Exactly. Leslie, great point. I agree with you. They fancy themselves the adults in the room, but the reality is they're not the adults in the room. They certainly are not the adults in the room, so... The fact that we can literally have an unidentified flying object, they're not even... It's either another spacecraft, another aircraft from either China or the Kremlin or whatever. An adversary is flying above the country, or it's a Martian. It's either... Because we're not... we spend $18 billion on defense, with 70 billion or so plus on intelligence. Joe Valdez! We went from balloon to silver color cylindrical object within a few days. What's next? Pretty much. I know. I know. It's very bizarre. It is very bizarre. It's kind of hilarious that it is hilarious that this is happening. It's really funny actually that this is taking place. Like, I wouldn't say it's funny as, a comedy routine, but I love the way CNN, it was a success. Joel, great point. Henry, Martians are dog-faced pony soldiers. Exactly. Oh, come on, man. You're a pony soldier, man. Dog-faced pony soldier. Come on, man. Oh, my God. So funny. Biden says downing of object was a success. Or maybe it was a failure that we've had 2 of these objects downed within a week. Maybe that's a failure in allowing these types of things to take place. Gee, maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe, just maybe, it's a bad thing. maybe we shouldn't be dealing with this type of thing. We shouldn't have these problems. Car-sized UFO. So, and this is an article in The Hill, which is hilarious, right before, like yesterday. Forget spy balloon, military UFO incidents are far more intriguing. Oh, what's this? So, let's do New York Daily News. I love the fact that they keep on saying to ensure that nobody asks any more questions, it's car-sized. It's the size of a car, don't you know? Joel Valdez! You know we have levitating ships already. The T-3B is just one declassified example. I'm sure we have many others. Huh. Hold on. TR3B. Let's look that up. Joel Valdez, thank you. TR3B. It doesn't officially exist. Okay, hold on one second. TR3B. Joel Valdez! Thank you so much, Joel, as always. Okay, so hold on one second. All right. Military.com. Joel, are you know about this? Is amazing. It doesn't exist officially. It uses high-pressured, accelerated by nuclear energy. Oh, wow, look at that. Anti-gravity spacecrafts. Wow. Nice. Conventional thrusters, oh, that's an interesting word, located at the tips of the craft, allow it to perform all manner of high-speed maneuvers along all three axes. It's almost invisible to literally means that it can go to any country it likes without being detected. Well, that's not possible, actually. Who said that? Like, there's no way to completely fool radar systems. Wait, it was Pierre Sprey was saying that. I believe, he was the man who helped create the F-15, or F-14 and F-15, and F-16 also. I believe. Wow. Okay, so wow, Joel Valdez, you are awesome. I did not know that. So, Leslie! They've been reverse engineering those spaceships for years. Yeah, I mean, I think that, thank you, Leslie. Leslie, I do believe that there could be a 0.5% chance of actual UFOs and Martians. Let's say 99.5% that they don't exist, 0.5%. It could be energy, balls of energy that are spheres of energy that, like, you've had There's a great DVD out there from the History Channel called I Know What I Saw. And you have pilots, Leslie and everybody here, Joel and Henry and everybody here, Born and Raised Hogs, everybody here. You have pilots from Air Force pilots from around. You have Air Force pilots from around the world who have seen up in the air, 30, 40,000 feet up in the air, like spheres of energy or glowing spheres of, So I do believe that, the response as well, these if there were Martians, they would be so highly advanced that they would think of us like insects. And I agree with that. But at the same time, we still study insects. So we don't, and you know what? A lot of people just see an anthill and kick it over. But those are human beings. Maybe I do think that there's something that can't be explained in terms of maybe spheres of energy or light, high altitude, that because you've had pilots who have stated that when they're flying, they're being chased or being like toyed with by these spheres of glowing cylindrical type things. Could be energy, could be light, could be something that has nothing to do with a Martian, or could have. I mean, there are pilots from air forces around the country that have talked about that. Now, do I think that these are Martians? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that the evidence points to alien beings, but there is something bizarre that has not been explained yet. Could be alien, could be Martian, or extraterrestrials. But like I said, a lot of these pilots they've talked about, and it's in a History Channel documentary, I Know What I Saw. They talk about these spheres that follow their jets and like toy with them. So I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. The whole Martian abduction thing, I don't believe. That I don't believe. I don't believe that stuff. But I mean, look, the problem is that governments, especially our own, lie all the time. And they try to literally weaponize, not just politically, but actually create an edge all the time in terms of how can we defeat other militaries. So if there was that type of situation where, Joel Valdez, TR-3B is equipped with a very powerful energy beam capable of great destruction. I believe that. I don't doubt that. Joel, thank you so much. Also, have you heard of those lasers? The Navy has these high-powered lasers. Joel, everybody here, have you heard of these lasers? They're they actually, like, it's like Star Wars, and laser. Navy conducts historic. This is the Navy website. Okay. Navy historic tests of new laser system. So That is wild right there. It is a ground-based laser system where they just generate this high-powered beam of light that can destroy things, just like in the movies. So, here you go. And it's just, there it is. There's that. You definitely don't want that leveled at you. It's getting hot. What is that? Oh, you're being melted by a laser beam. Not a fun time. Not fun. Joel Valdez, thank you. Henry, man. UFO is a phenomenon going back to WW. That's true. Probably before that also. Henry, probably before that as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, when you see an object in the sky and it does, like, you know, weird things, or a shooting star, or you're a pilot and you see these things, it's like, Joel Valdez! TR-3B is a naval ship. Oh, and its laser is a modern version of Tesla's original invention. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. TR-3B naval ship. Okay, let's just go ahead. Thank you. Joel Valdez, thank you. TR-3B ship. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Okay, hold on one second. I was going to get this gigantic mosquito. I need a laser for this mosquito. I need a Navy laser. Destroy where I'm at. God forbid. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to find, okay, so Wikipedia would just. Okay. All right, now I'm going all over the place. With my luck, it'll go to like some site that'll completely take this down, so. Leslie! Salute to Joel Valdez. That's right. Thank you, Leslie. We salute you, Joel and Henry and everybody here. Thank you. No, I don't. I agree with you, JB. They wouldn't tell. So, yeah, I mean, you have this, ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal, okay? This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this. There is just nothing normal about this. You know, there's just nothing normal about this. This is quite bizarre. And it is something that should not be accepted. This type of thing, you know, these aircraft flying above the country, whether it's a balloon or whether it's an unidentified flying object, it should not be simply accepted. It should not be simply just accepted. You know, this is not something that should be, you know, no big deal, and it is what it is, you know. This is more important than, you know, Pence Pence being investigated, which is hilarious. So, Henry! Allied forces. It was new tech by bad guy. Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know that. Henry, thank you. Yeah. Sheila, thank you. Henry, yeah, that is interesting. Allied forces thought there was new tech by the bad guys and vice versa. Wow. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, there are certain things like, I don't think, Henry, here's my philosophy on, I don't think you could speak to deceased people. I don't think that there are ghosts or goblins. I don't think that there are Martians. I don't think that, but I do believe that there's a 0.5 or 0.2% or 0.1% chance that here or there a ghost or a Martian could exist. I would say probably 99.9% of the time, it's not a ghost, it's not a goblin, it's not a Martian, it's not Bigfoot, it's not the Loch Ness Monster. But there is 0.5% of the time or 0.2% of the time where there could be something unexplained that is, more bizarre than fantasy or science fiction, or just as bizarre as fantasy and science fiction. So what I'm saying is I think there's a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage chance of these things possibly existing. But like I said, when they, for example, when they say, one of the greatest presidents that have ever lived, in my view, one of the last great Democrats whose life was taken, I'm not even going to, when they say, well, all the evidence points to the official narrative. Well, but the official narrative, there we still have tens of thousands of classified documents that we haven't seen. So you haven't seen all the evidence. And then it's like an AI program that has run, afoul. But all the evidence points to the official narrative. You don't have all the evidence. We still have tens of thousands of classified documents withheld. But all the evidence points to the official narrative. Yeah, but there's all the evidence that is being withheld, which also is very bizarre if the official narrative was so. And then you have video footage that came out after the official narrative was to debunk the official narrative, only to find that one engineer or that one or two or three people who enjoy firearms like everyone else to say, oh, this is possible. But yeah, is it likely? It's like unbelievable. People will believe, people do not want to, people do not want to entertain the notion, at least I entertain the notion of a lot of different, like Calvinist, I agree with you to a great extent. They don't want to entertain the notion that there's a lot of people who believe things simply because, and they just don't want to create waves. Like people who dislike Trump, a lot of the time, they like Trump's policies, but they just don't want to create waves. They just don't want to be seen as a Trump supporter. Oh no, who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? Who wants to be seen as a Trump supporter? Oh my goodness. So we'll just go ahead and allow, UFOs flying above, spy planes flying above, no problem. I mean, here's the thing. You have, this is a problem. When you know the course of the spy plane, for example, it could have been downed before it got to the continental United States. Okay? It could have been downed before it got to Montana. Okay? But it wasn't. Let's see here. So here, this is a problem. Starts off here, and we knew that it was flying above in the Aleutian Islands next to Alaska, so well over here. Or here. Went all through the United States with South Carolina here, off the coast of South Carolina. So it's like this is a big problem. This is not good. They could have been tracking individuals. They could have been the spy balloon is a pretty powerful. It's a tactical military balloon. B. Cal, I agree with you. We wouldn't have this mess with Trump. We wouldn't. We would see the thing with Trump is that media overshadowed. Media was able to drown out all of his accomplishments. And his Achilles heel is that what makes him great is that he can survive endless media coverage that's negative, but also the Achilles heel with Trump is that he allows them to overshadow his accomplishments. So that's the issue that Trump faces. That's the issue that Trump faces. Okay. Rear both farms. You didn't have this. This is the second unidentified flying object, and it's just so bizarre that this is taking place. It's so bizarre. You know, it's not a normal. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this. Okay? That's the issue here. There is nothing normal about this. There's nothing that, there's nothing that makes sense or that is normal about this. This is very, very bizarre. It's not something that I don't remember another presidency, whether it's Reagan or Clinton or Bush. Well, Bush was a terrible presidency. George W. Bush was the worst president of all time, in my view, even worse than mashed potato brains Biden. But it didn't happen infinitely worse happened under Bush presidency. But this type of thing, you don't want to have all of these UFOs or balloons flying above your country. Okay, and by the way, if it flew above any other adversary, it would immediately have been taken down within a nanosecond. Within a second. Okay, and there would have been economic repercussions. That's the thing. The economic repercussions, they should have been talking about leveling economic repercussions, even though we're trying to rebuild an economy that Democrats tanked. Okay, I love how they just go ahead and tank, restaurants, bars, everything, and then they say, oh, well, we're trying to rebuild. That's the thing. When I started this segment, the reason that it wouldn't have taken place under Trump is that with Trump, there would have been an immediate reaction. Not, oh, well, let's let it fly over the country forever. Larry! Just the Winnie the Pooh. Don't have a cow. Larry! Just the Winnie the Pooh balloon. Don't have a cow. Larry, thank you. Thank you, Larry. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Larry. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Yeah, I mean, you have a very bizarre state of affairs where people are actually, adversaries are almost certainly deriving intelligence, obtaining information that they would not be able to obtain were it not for these balloons or aircraft. This is not rocket science. It's not that difficult to understand. Even Democrats can understand this, okay? But what they do all the time, ladies and gentlemen, is media has become a machine that generates emotion and suppresses emotion. It's a public relations apparatus that generates or suppresses emotion, depending on the political side they want to back. This has nothing to do with information. Okay, because the information is secondary. The information is, there's a UFO above. No, if it was Trump, he'd be like, UFO! With Biden, it's UFO. It's an object. It's a car-sized object. I mean, it's just a car size. I mean, you have a car, don't you? Well, then there you go. It's a car size. It's a car just like your own car. It's a car just like your own car. What's the problem? So, that's the thing. I mean, it's this continual attempt at it's possible. I mean, there are adversaries almost certainly actually doing harm to national security. Not like what Democrats have done is they have redefined national security as what helps or hurts their political objectives. So Trump is a menace to national security. Why? Because he defeated Clinton. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Oh, he's bad for our allies, this and that. It's like, so we have allies because it benefits us. We don't work for other countries. Okay? This whole thing with allies, it's like the European countries that these people talk about are run by the equivalent of liberal Democrats. So, I mean, you had Saturday Night Live do a bunch of skits with all of these world leaders laughing at Trump or whatever, or like, oh, he's not allowed into the club. That's the great thing about Trump. That's why I vote for Trump. That's one of the reasons, in addition to his foreign policy is infinitely better. The reason that Trump is so important is he doesn't revere an alliance in Europe. He doesn't revere or worship non-governmental or multinational or global organizations. That's the great thing about Trump. That's not a negative. Okay? And that's, I mean, you look at this and it's like, this is national security. This is infinitely more important than the DNC emails, which traumatized the Democratic Party. The DNC emails traumatized the Democratic Party, like really traumatized them. They had to redefine national security and that's why they suspended the New York Post. Well, and then Twitter just basically defends the indefensible. We had a policy against hacked material. Well, how do you know it was hacked? Well, how do you know it was that type of material? Well, we were told it could be. But John Ratcliffe back then stated it wasn't. He was the director of national intelligence. So they pick and choose, ladies and gentlemen, they pick and choose what to, they pick and they choose what to abide by or who to listen to. Okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back in a couple of hours with an upload. Have a beautiful, amazing evening, a Friday evening. Joel Valdez, everybody here. Henry, man, everybody here. Leslie, thank you so very, very much. Larry, Joel, Henry, Leslie, everybody here. Born to Raise Hogs, thank you very, very much, everybody. Eric, have a great evening. God bless you all. And stay safe, and try to just stay away from Martians, If Martians came down tomorrow, the first thing the Washington Post would say, well, at least Trump isn't tweeting. Could you imagine if Trump was in office? Thank goodness these Martians can't. This is what happens every time a calamity takes place and they're embarrassed. They're like, can you imagine if this happened with Trump? But it didn't happen with Trump. That's the problem. It didn't. That's the issue. It didn't happen with Trump. Can you imagine? Yeah, it didn't happen. That's the operative words are, can you imagine? You'd have to imagine it because it didn't happen with Trump. Anyway, hit subscribe, everybody. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Rehoboth Farms. Greatly appreciated. Shabbat shalom to you. Thank you so very much, everybody. Have a great evening. Get a Wookiee. Hello. I will see Orange Grove. Hello. I will see you all in a couple of hours on this channel, people. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll see you in a couple of hours. Be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're changing it to 9 a.m. 9 a.m. and around 12 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Those will be my first 2 segments of the day. Thanks, everybody. God bless.